Now, I'm starting to see the tendency, even though we're doing it only 2 instead of 3 times, I'm seeing something interesting happening, which usually does. Here. Okay, I'm gonna do this in a sequence of 3 this time, and I want you to watch what happens here, because I'm gonna end up in a position where I'm gonna get killed. Okay, so we're starting this off here, right? This comes in, we're bam, 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 bam. I can still do it, but see how close I am to him? It's like, damn, he's not doing anything different. Problem is, I'm not doing anything different either, and what I'm doing is wrong. Okay, so remember, I said this has to do with not only controlling his timing and rhythm, but also controlling not just when he moves, but his direction of movement. Okay, well, in terms of my direction of movement, what was going on with that was this. Let's do just the first. We're here, boom, boom, and then this is up here, right? And then I start to withdraw this, and he starts to punch. Well, what I did was, see how close he is? And each subsequent one is going to be even closer because of where I'm going. Okay, no attack this time, just watch. Again, let's say we have the nice straight tatami mat here, lines so that you can see the angle of movement. So let's say on this initial one here, I was this way, I angle over here, boom, 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 and then as I start to let him go, punch comes in, and all I'm doing is angling over here. Boom, boom. Okay? The direction I'm going, again, it's just a geometric thing. It shortens the distance that he needs to be able to reach me. And also, it enables him to do what he did on that second one there, where right from the very beginning, because of where I'm moving, he's able to just track me as I go, which is what somebody out there is going to want to do. Okay? So what I want to do with this is after the initial strike, we're here, okay? I'm in my happy place. I hit, boom, boom, boom. As I start to withdraw this, so he's able to come in with that second attack. Okay. See, I'm moving back on the line that he's already ready to attack on. Okay, watch that part again. Let's take it again from the top, and let's change the angle here. Okay. So we're here, right? Boom, boom, boom. So now, you know, he wants to come right straight in here to get me, right? So as I start dropping this so that he can and start increasing the distance there, I suck him into attacking right on this line. Okay, then let's go back a couple frames here. Back to this. Okay, so now as he's coming in on that line, that's getting in there, and then. Okay, so I don't want to just go 45, 45, 45. I want to go roughly 45 here, back along that line, then over, okay, then same thing, suck him into that same attacking line, then over. Okay, and then the distance ends up different, where I'm able to do everything I want to do. Okay, play with that for a minute. Okay, it's lunchtime. Let's see, we went a little past part we're going to. Let's try to resume at 2:40. Okay, yeah, it's between 1:35 and 1:40 right now. Let's shoot for 2:40 to resume. Okay, we'll move on with the Kihon Happo and then start getting into some weapons fundamentals. There's lots of fun yet to be had today, so let's get back to it. All right, so the next one in the series is the last of the purely striking-oriented one with yet another kamae. It's called Hicho no kamae, and it's H-I-C-H-O. It's not pronounced Hicho. It's Hicho, okay? And so if I say that, somebody wants to say bless you, that's fine. Just think of it as sounding a little like a sneeze. Hicho no kamae. And think of Ichimonji no kamae on one leg, and you got it. Okay? I mean, that basically is it. In other words, you're still a little kind of rounded toward the opponent. This hand is still going like across his opposite shoulder. Still have the Boshiken fist here right inside the elbow, but now you're up on one foot here. Okay, and might seem like a funny position to hang out in, and in reality, you probably wouldn't want to. But it's not quite as ridiculous as you might think, even if you're not thinking of it as a transitional movement. Because from here, the nice thing is you've got a bunch of directions you can go. You're not just stuck there on one leg. You know, just depending on how you align your body and shift your weight, you can come down from it. You know, you can come back from it. You can move over to the side. You can move over to this side. You know, just all kinds of directions you can go here. Well, yeah, if you're thinking of it as a transitional thing, you know, you can use it that way too. He's attacking the leg, so, okay. Yeah. Anyway, where this one starts, let's see, Robert, if you would. And again, you know, this is the formal basic training form, okay? You're hanging out in the position, and because your hand is a little high, he's coming in for the midsection here, because that's what's open, okay? So you're here, he moves in, and you're boom, and then moving in, whammo, with a shuto. Okay, once again. So, pow, then boom, that way. Okay, now, something about this, it's a little more than just sweeping with the hand here. I want you to watch what's going on with the hips and the knees. Okay, so, I actually just increased the distance. It was this way, more like that, okay? Again. Okay. And then as I do that, this is sweeping, bam, and then boosh. Okay, let's play with it. All right, some key points on this. Robert again. Okay, first of all, it's important that you do have your knee oriented right toward him. Should be at right angles to the foot that's on the ground. Okay, so the knee is right toward him. Don't do this. See how I let my knee go out like that? Okay, so maintain that alignment so it's still right toward him. Okay, as you sweep here again. Okay, and the other thing is, from the kick, if you're stepping down like this and then trying to step through the hip, you're kind of all jammed up there, right? So watch where the foot goes after the kick. Boom. See, I'm putting it right down by the other foot, so I have a stable base to go from, and I've got the distance to get the extension that I want on that. Okay, here. So, boom. And then, of course, if that hasn't knocked him down, you can do other things from there, too. Okay, a couple more times. Okay, a couple of quick points about how to maintain the kamae so that you don't end up doing something like this. Okay, if you find you're having trouble hanging out on one foot like that, there are at least two little tricks that you can use, quite possibly more, but two that come to me right off the top of my head are, one, rather than just having your foot flat on the ground, if you do this, imagine this is my foot, as though you're gripping the ground. Okay? That's not because of anything it does for the foot itself, but what it does is it tightens up the ligaments in the ankles. So it gives you more rigidity, more stability in the ankle, as though you're wearing a boot or something. Okay? That's one thing. The other is, you can change the plane that you're in. You know, if you're doing that and you still feel yourself kind of wobbly here, See how my body's kind of wobbling back and forth and stuff? If you change that to vertical movement, let your hips sink, relax, stabilize while you're doing that, then you can hang out there, okay? So maybe try that just for a minute or two as well, okay? Without anybody attacking you, just try both the foot clench bit and just raising and lowering your body a bit as you need to. Okay, and another point, just kind of getting away from the basic fundamental training form now. The way that the Japanese look at it is that actually, anytime your weight is entirely on one foot, it can be considered Hicho no Kamae. It may actually be touching the ground. But if the weight is all here, even though it looks more like Ichimonji or something, it still could be considered Hicho. Just something to be aware of. It also is often used as a transitional kamae. So that, let's say I actually am in Hicho, and Russell comes in with, you know, a low punch here, because I'm keeping this high, okay? Well, again, what I'm doing is I'm moving into in that same movement, okay, but starting from a different kamae. Bam, boom. Okay. Or even without all of this stuff, you know, I'm just here, right? Just changing the angle. So I just change the angle in the distance so he can't quite reach me. Bam, I've got him. I still was here first on the way through into that. Okay. So that would be another way of using it. It's still, excuse me, it's still the same kamae, but I'm using it as a transitional movement in the midst of something now. Okay. All right, I think we can go ahead and move on to the Toritegata. So I'll put my gi jacket on here. Okay, now this is going to be a little different from the way that you see it on the Quest videotape. Because on that one, what you see is the guy comes up and grabs you at the lapel here, right? And you cover so that you can feel what's going on here and how his body's moving. This is an antenna, okay? And what it shows in that video is you're doing basically just this, and boom, crunch, okay? Okay, that's fine, that's good. That's not really the most fundamental basic way of doing it. It's using the same movement, but the way it used to be taught and the way I still prefer to teach it, gets the same thing in there, but from here it gets this angling and the sense of the way the body flow wave or whip-like thing goes on in there is from this angling away first. See what that does to his kamae? Okay, so I'm keeping the same position here. I'm not doing this. That doesn't change anything relative to him, but I'm angling and turning this side of my body toward him just like I'm in a kamae here. Okay, that tends to do that to the wrist, which blocks his movement for a moment. Okay, and right at as I'm moving, I basically am just placing both of my palms underneath his hand. I'm not grabbing the hand. I'm just placing the palms so that at the point where I'm actually settling into a stable position, both are under here. Okay, and then from that point, here's where a lot of people get hung up. They immediately want to start twisting the wrist. Okay, and if I do that, I'm grabbing, I'm twisting, I'm here. He couldn't let go if he wanted to. Yeah. I've wrapped his hand up and trapped it in my clothing here. Okay, so part of this is, you know, you're taking his hand off, so you've got to do this in a way where his hand can come off. All right. So as I'm here initially moving, I'm pushing straight up as my body drops down. Okay, so now he's trying to, basically in the position of trying to support my full weight with his fingers like this, which doesn't work nearly as well as trying to do it this way. Okay, so from here, just up this way. Then from here, what I've just done now is, see the shape of the space I've created here? I could go ahead and take him on down with that, turning out here or something like that, but I want to just keep this same movement going. Here, boom, I'm going to, again, drop him on in forward a bit this way. So first I'm stepping away with the right foot, then I'm taking the left out of the way, here. I'm just kind of making a hole for him to fall into. Okay, again. So just touching here, don't grab, okay? Angling away, putting the hands underneath, then once you're over there, pushing up, then again, bringing this out of the way. So again, don't think of pushing from this side to do this. Think of pulling from this side. Here. Okay, pull it. One more time. So here, there. Okay, play with it. Key point about the gyaku itself, Russell. Okay, most of you are getting pretty decent at the point where you're up to here, right? But then I'm seeing a lot of this. It's not just turning or twisting like in a plane across here as though I'm turning a steering wheel. It's not that. You're moving in a way which is pulling him out this way and getting that kind of a lock. Let me just isolate this. In other words, you don't want to try to make it go like that. Rather, this kind of circles around so that it's as though the two little finger knuckles here are going at a 45-degree angle across his forearm. And then you're kind of pulling on those. Because this gives you a certain effect. It can hurt him, and for somebody who's totally untrained, it can work. But it also gives him, for somebody who is trained, gives him considerable latitude to move around that and try to do something, okay? But if you're extending him out this way and then it locks everything here, has a different effect. Okay, so try it a few more times, really pay attention to that part of it. A couple points about the initial part of the movement here. Okay, Robert. Okay, if you're doing this is not good. I may still get his hand off exactly the same way, coming over to this angle, right, and again, dropping my body while I'm pushing up here. Works exactly the same. But if you're doing that same thing to me, yeah, because my balance is still stable, okay? So this part's important. Actually do something that's going to move him a little bit. Now, if you're doing this for real, and you get that movement with this happening, you know, he's probably not going to just feel like hanging out forever for you to complete this. So it does need to be done with a feeling of continuing flow, even if you do it slowly. So this. Okay. So the flow part of it is important, but also realize it's not that you want to keep the flow going just to prevent him from doing anything else, because he'll still probably try. Okay? So I get him off balance and we're here. He's probably going to want to take a step to adjust and, you know, at least start getting himself feeling a little back in control, so he's no longer totally depending on me for his balance. Okay? And that's fine. You can let him. So what I did was I was doing the movement, right, nice and smooth, but then I didn't actually do that part of it, right, until he started to take a step. And his balance was on only one foot. Okay, so play with that part of it. Okay, so again, this gets it kind of out of the realm of the way we were just doing it, kind of gets it out of the realm of just basic mechanical movement, and it brings a tactical element into it. Because realistically, you know, you got to know that if you start disturbing the guy's balance, you know, I'm not totally breaking it, I'm just disturbing it and having him kind of leaning on me, that, you know, he's not going to want to just hang out there, he's going to want to move somehow to adjust, right? So this is where tactical timing comes into it. So knowing that, rather than just thinking about, okay, I'm doing my technique, right? And then you get nailed and you can't figure out why because you're dead, right? Then you realize he's going to try to do something to adjust. He may move one foot, he may move the other, it doesn't matter. But again, just through touch here, you should be able to feel the point where he's picking a foot up without even having to look. So you're just here. There. You want to try to catch it just as he's starting to lift it. Okay. So. Okay. All right. Let's see. In terms of this really gets important if you're also taking it at other angles. I mean, this is the fundamental basic, but it doesn't have to go at that sort of an angle. You can have the same kind of thing moving out here, for instance. Okay. And I'm not trying to take him off quite the same way. Until now we're here, okay? Go that way. And if I were in closer, in like this or something, right? I still have to, see, I can't get here and go, I get nailed. But moving it back, locking it up, right? And yeah, I'm taking it in a way where, again, from that 45-degree angle across the forearm bit, see what it does to first his wrist, then his elbow, then his shoulder, then his spine, which also takes that shoulder away from me. So it doesn't have to always be, extended way out here. Okay. But the principles are going to work the same way. That's why you can't just turn this like a steering wheel. You have to have this kind of a lock. Okay. All right. Let's move over to Uragyaku. That was omote. Got the same grab starting. Again, you're covering the same way. Okay. Let's turn around the other way here. Covering the same way, and now though, instead of stepping off this way, you're going to step the other direction, because you're also going to take his hand and his wrist in the other direction. Okay, so here, and bring it across. Now I want you to take particular note of the alignment of my upper arm and my elbow here. It's like right toward him, along his arm. Okay. Because that can, and actually there's a way you can do this even before that stage, to kind of keep him from following you in there and make sure that he actually does kind of get extended off there. So, but then we'll be taking it here. So just as something to keep him from in other words, don't just come up here, because if you're going off at this angle now, it's very easy for him to step with you. And, okay. And then you get your electronics all messed up here because he hit me right there. Okay, so yeah, he hurts his hand, but Okay, so from this, rather than just putting it up like that, okay, turn around again. And rather than just bringing it over here, just because again, it kind of creates that stuttering thing for a moment, just like when we were doing Jumon Jino Kamae, ending with this hand at the face. Don't go, just thrust at him. But no, just let it kind of just be in the way as you're bringing your arm over. Okay. Then at that point, okay. Now something else that needs to be pointed out. Again, relating this to other Kihon Happo techniques and relating it again back to the Sanshi no Kata. That movement that I did at the end. Watch again. Here. Okay, now just back away here. It's that same movement I would use for this ukinagashi. Same thing's happening with the hips here. In other words, I'm not doing this, I'm not getting this effect with my arms or reefing on him here. It's the body movement. I'm just kind of pinning him to my chest here, right? And then this same turning and pulling this hip in. All I have to do is keep it connected to my chest and this happens. Okay, one more time. So from here, covering, there we are. Now, from this angle, it's very easy to get it loose if it hasn't come loose yet. Okay. Well, guess what? We're going to do that same 45 degrees across the forearm thing again. Okay, it's just that we're turning it the opposite direction. So, okay, what most people usually want to do, again, is they get to that spot, okay, boom, and they're thinking, I'm turning the steering wheel again, I'm going to go right turn. It's this way, this direction. So not this direction, but kind of in this plane toward the camera here. Okay? All right, play with it a bit. Part on getting him in position for the Gyaku again. Russell, if you would. Okay. So again, like I said, the movement is just like you're doing the ukinagashi, where it's mainly pulling with this lead side and especially this hip that's driving it rather than pushing it forward. Okay? So again, I'm really not pushing anything forward with this. Think, this is going to look kind of funny, but think of just, don't even try to do the Gyaku here with your right hand. Just move into that position and do, I mean, that works perfectly fine too, actually doing the hit here, okay? And just smack him one right in the temple. But my point though is that it is that exact same movement of the lower body, the hips, and the spine, okay? So it's exactly the same. And what happens then, rather than it being a pull, I mean, it's a pull here. The power is generated, you know, in other words, the power is being generated from somewhere other than where it seems to be. Watch what happens to his upper body as I do this. We're here, okay? See, it had this kind of wave-like effect, almost like I was striking through here and knocking him back. Okay, again, here, that. Okay, well, actually, it's not that I'm hitting him or pushing him from this side, but it's just that by pulling this side back, it pushes this side forward. If you think of it as trying to push into him, you're going to get a completely different effect. Okay, so yeah, it has the effect of a strike through his arm, but the strike isn't done by pushing this side, it's done by pulling this one, which also makes it harder for him to feel where the power is coming from. Okay, one more time. So again, we're here, here, and there you are. Then that comes off very nicely, and then, okay. Okay, so a few more times on that. Like a blend of elements here, where it starts with grabbing the lapel here and then trying to punch. Okay, it's doing one of those. So it's covering here. So this is combining, you know, a grappling, striking kind of thing. So you're covering here, and then as he comes in, you're hitting, right? Then, boom, go ahead and here. Okay, same thing from the other side. So, pow, here, boosh. Okay, one more time. I'll go easy this time. Remember? Out here. So just flowing with his movement, so you go into a safe space here where you're not getting hit, right? Then from here. Okay. Okay, let's play with that one a few times too. Okay, another couple of quick points having to do with both the concept of the flow of this and tactical considerations. Even if you're doing just the base form, okay, here, boom, all right, if you stop your movement here, stay planted right where you are, start to do this, he's already going to be adjusting, okay, see how that feels to you and see what you can do. So like, here, boom, oops, he's already changed everything on me, okay, so two things about this. One, you want to keep moving. But you also want to pay some attention as to where it would be a good idea to be moving to, given the shape of the space that you have to deal with there. Okay, and I'm going to go real slow here. And I am going to break it down to two separate movements. We're here, boom. Now, again, remember, we want to here, boom, and right? But from the hit, what I would recommend is where the flow continues at that point, watch my feet. And can you guess why? Keeps him extended out. It keeps him from advancing the other leg and bringing that other arm back into play. Back to the hit. Boom, if I'm moving this way, rather than just standing flat-footed here and trying to do this and getting nailed, okay? Boom, whoop. So I haven't done anything really except just reposition my feet a bit. But again, it has a pulling in effect here, which is taking that side of his body away from me. And now I have the space to go ahead and do that with no opposition. Okay? It's not that you have to be trying to do anything to him, it's just where you go as you do this. Okay? So a couple more times and bring that part into it as well. Okay, something about that last little tactical element I was showing is, again, these forms, in my opinion, you know, they're not just about doing the fundamental movements. I mean, they are, but that's just at the very beginning, baby step level. There's no reason why you can't bring these tactical considerations into it as well, right from the get-go, right from the very beginning. And in my opinion, you're supposed to. You won't see it that way on the videos that are put out by Quest, because they don't necessarily want everybody in the world who's not in the Bujinkan picking up on that stuff. Okay? And in fact, they will sometimes show stuff that just really isn't quite correct and may even get you killed if you try to do it the way that it's shown. So you have to think of those videos as, you know, yeah, they can be useful for training, but they're kind of like coded Densho scrolls, where the meaning that what's in there is really for the people who are already initiates of the art. Okay, so in this case, Robert, this is really not about just doing the technique in a way that he won't counter it. Remember when we were doing the Ichimonji form, and I was talking about this element of not only keeping the space there, you know, but also the way I'm doing this, not only being to generate power, but also so that as you're coming in, you're in a position where you're not 100% committed to a single course of action, and you've got different directions you can go. Same here. You should never, until the very, very last second when it's too late for him to do anything about it, you should never be in a position where you're 100% committed to trying to do something, because a skilled fighter will pick up on it and use it against you. So this also, the way I'm showing it, is really showing you how to get into a place and into a space where you're not committed to doing the Gaku. You can if you want to, you know, but you've got other options at that point too, right? Safe space first, don't get hit, right? Then you start damaging him and changing the shape here. Then from there you continue with this movement, okay? And I don't have to do the Gaku here, although it's very easy to, but maybe I'd want to just smash him here, right? Or from that, you know, from this same kind of thing here, boom, punch, right? Do the Gaku as a follow-up. Don't need it, but I can if I want. Boom, bam, okay? I can kick him there. Or if I want to follow up and go ahead and have the Gaku in there anyway, boom, and then here, okay? Only hanging on, I would keep the grip here. Bam, okay, boosh. So those are all, those are all options, right? Boom, boom. Just by keeping that so that it's tied up and it can't do anything else. Safe space. Then do it. I may do other things and then finish with the Gaku. Okay. Okay. Just so the idea is it's not that I'm really just trying to do the basic here, but that I'm doing it in a way that also allows me to change and do other things in the midst of it if I want to. If something about what's going on with him changes. Maybe my foot slips a little because the surface is uneven or slippery. Hey, sometimes in the real world that happens, you know. Or I just don't quite get it the way I was originally starting to. Something's something's a little off, some little change that he may be able to make in his alignment or something like that. And suddenly I can feel that I'm no longer in the best spot to do that specific technique. But again, if my use of the space is good, oh, well, I can do other things too. Okay? So, on that point, let's go ahead and take another hydration break. Okay. Then we have 2 more of the Kihon to get through. I actually turned it into a sort of, instead of doing the Omotegaku, I actually turned it into kind of an Uragyaku at the end. Yeah. Watch again, Robert. So he's grabbing and punching, right? We're here, wham. And then again, I'm shifting here. Came this way. So it's still an Uragyaku kind of thing, but locking up the whole arm. And I was stepping across and throwing him from there. But if you wanted to, again, you can actually do a regular, quote unquote, regular, more textbook type Uragyaku. So from here, this same thing, and then there you are. Okay, so you can take these in a bunch of different directions. Okay, anyway, got 2 more of these to do. Mushadori and Ganseki Nage. And again, the Densho textbook original recipe version, the guy's grabbing at the forearm or the elbow, at the sleeve, essentially, of your clothing, with the idea then he's going to punch you or stab you or something like that. But what you do initially for this one is just angle over. And by the way, this will open him up better if, rather than trying to go 45 degrees back, which will tend to have him just following you, you actually take his kamae off at a 45-degree angle by moving yourself at a 90-degree angle. So I'm coming over here. Okay. And notice I'm not putting any strength into my arm here. I'm just leaving the elbow where it is against my body here while I raise the forearm here. So it's just coming from the legs and the movement of the body. Then, okay. Okay, different direction. So shifting off this way, which also, again, takes you more out of range of whatever you might have on the other side, right? But then from this, I'm stepping over here now. And then I'm just going to turn so that we're standing side by side here. Okay. Bring my hands together to pray for his soul. Okay. And then again, this is the Gyokoryu original version. There's a kick here. Crunch! And then you're down, you got it. Okay, now one thing about the lock. Don't just try to get here and go. Okay, again, it's all in how you move your body and how you walk around with this. Okay, and once you've got him here, it's not just a matter of cranking it up like this. Remember when we were doing Ura no Motegaku, I said it's not just turning this way or turning that way like you're turning a steering wheel driving a car. Well, by the same token, when you're doing this one, you're not just bringing this in a vertical plane here. Because that, again, that gives him room to move and get out of it. Okay? And we like to do stuff like that if he gives us an opening. So, so as you do it, here, and don't just stand right here, but at the point where you get into this position, see what I did? Instead of being in here and standing up, I shifted over a little. Up. That draws the arm out and kind of sets the shoulder so that you really have a good lock there. Then crunch. And by the way, the kick, I've seen people in various dojo do it this way, and it is really not, in my opinion, the correct way to do it. It's fine if you're doing it for safety with your partner, and you understand that you're doing it this way for safety reasons. But this is not really how it should be. Watch. Okay, we're shifting over here, here, here. It's not that kind of a kick. The idea is not to just knock him off his feet, especially since you just got him over here, so his weight is more on this leg, which also makes it harder to move. It's harder to move the leg, all right? So let's change the angle just a little. Yeah, here we go. So from this over here, it's actually going to be coming about 45 degrees down this way. Okay? Reason being, see what that does to his ankle, the shape it puts it in, as well as just driving his knee straight down toward the ground. It tends to break the ankle when you do it that way too, as well as quite possibly tearing the top of the calf muscle here where it's attached. Okay? For our purposes, that's a good thing. Okay? Don't want to do it to your partner in the dojo like that. I mean, you don't want to actually have that effect, but do get in the habit of shifting over, taking it in this direction and out, and just understand that it's supposed to go this way. Okay? So it just drives him down on that knee. And then, of course, you also have other options within this space too. You know, things like that. Okay. Here. So here, right? Shift over. Drawing him out. Crunch. And then down, and then from this point, all you got to do is just turn the body, and it kind of tears everything out there. Okay? Okay, play with it. Of the Densho form of it that, that I was taught. It's not the way that I most like to do it, okay, because it's good in terms of learning the movement, but it's bad in terms of tactics, okay? So, and you know, there's one Shihan I know of, and he got it from Hatsumi Sensei, didn't make it up in Japan. One thing he's fond of saying is, you know, Densho techniques are junk techniques. And by the same token, a lot of folks outside the Bujinkan will look at what we do and they'll tell you our techniques won't work, you know. Well, I would go even further than that and make it a more extreme statement. It's not that our techniques won't work, it's that trying to do techniques won't work. Period. It won't work reliably. Techniques won't work. Heard Soke say it many times. Forms will not save you. You know, in other words, doing something that has a particularly definable shape, like a technique, isn't going to do it. So, in terms of, however, forms and techniques will not save you, but understanding the art of putting yourself in a position where a technique can occur will. And that's the approach I'm trying to get into this whole thing today. Okay, trying to bring that all into it. So rather than being here and stepping 90 degrees over here, 90 degrees over here, and then turning, well, why not, instead of making it 290 degrees, let's just shorten it down to 145 degree. Okay, so my preferred approach on this is just go 45 degrees over here. Okay, out to here, and then we're here. Boom. Okay, so you can consider that the official Dale Seago Dojo basic version. So try that one a few times too. Okay. Okay, I'm still seeing some people having difficulty because they're trying to shift over here and like do some kind of a scooping movement in this kind of a plane, and that's not what I'm doing at all. Marius? Okay, just think of this as taking a 45-degree step. I just want to put my foot basically alongside his, not right at it necessarily, but over to this spot while I bring the elbow up, right? And then all I'm doing, I'm not scooping with the arm, but if you notice, I'm just, as I turn, I just let it drop down. And actually back away, Marius. Look at the position it's in. I'm going to just leave it right there while I turn out to here. That's all I'm doing. Okay? And watch the effect that it has on him. Okay? So I go over here. Boom. I just let the arm relax and straighten out, right? I keep it there while I just keep that foot where it is, and I just turn my body around while then getting a little distance away from him this way. Okay? So it's not taking him in that kind of a plane. It's just turning and extending him out this way.
Some corkscrewing.
Yeah, it's a corkscrewing kind of thing on his part. Okay, let's take it from the other side here. Okay, just stepping right over here. And now again, this is what I'm talking about as what I like as the basic form. Real application, I'm probably not going to just be doing this because he's going to be trying to do something from the other side. You know, so as I step, I'm probably going to be doing something else there, stopping him here, you know, hitting him, whatever. But just from a mechanical standpoint for now, just stepping over to this spot, then just letting my arm extend. You don't have to do that. See, if you do this with your arm, you lose it. Instead, you do it with your body by keeping the same orientation with the arm and just letting the orientation with the arm and just turn the body and let the arm drop. Okay. Now, you can let yourself out of that because you're not totally locked up. Go ahead and move away. My arm's in exactly the same position it was. It never changed. Okay. So, here. So now when I start drawing him off balance this way and pulling that shoulder socket out a little bit, that's where I go ahead and bring this up. Okay, then crunch. Okay, so a couple more times. Technique, you know, you're just moving around, and it should be hard for the opponent to tell exactly what you're doing. So there isn't this feeling of 100% commitment of, yeah, I'm gonna get this technique on him. Okay. No, you're just moving yourself around through safe-shaped spaces and positions, which, again, that also frees you up to do all kinds of other stuff. Robert, let's say that we're here. Okay, and again, he's got me here, right? So from this, I start to move in. You know, like I said, in reality, I would probably be doing something with the other hand, too, to especially keep his mind off of what may be going on, right? And so then we're just turning around, you know, okay. So now I can go ahead and do it. Okay. Very simple, you know, just so this. There we are. Okay, so and again, this is as much a weapon art as it is an unarmed art, but you see how the empty hand and the weapon stuff blend together. Okay. Okay, let us go on to the last of the Kihon Happo, and probably the one most people find to be the most difficult of all of them. Certainly I did for my first several years. But the official Dale Seago version of this one is actually Nagato Sensei's version. And I just like it a lot because it's simple. Okay? Or at least the intro to this is going to be his version of it. It starts with the same grab, same spot. Okay? And mind you, yes, when in actual application you can do a lot of these techniques from all kinds of other positions, from strikes instead of grabs and other stuff. But for this, you know, this is one where it ends up with his arm up here, and you got him here, and you're stepping in and throwing him this way, and how do you get it there, and so it doesn't get lost somewhere in the middle. Okay, Nagato's approach to this is so simple, I just love it. Remember how with the Mushadori, we're stepping out here, and we're just letting this hand drift up and over? The elbow is still down. Well, now instead of letting it drift up and over this way, we're going to not step 45 degrees forward this way. We are going to go more out here, but just let the hand drift up from underneath and place it here. Okay, I know it's too easy, right? So you're just here. Don't grab it, just come up from underneath with your hands in a V like this. Yeah. So, there it is. All right, play with it a minute, and then we'll start tweaking some other points on it. Kind of a next step here, Marius. Okay. So he's grabbing here, and we get this part here. Whoops, one more time. We're here. Whoa, got it. Okay, but now you're thinking, okay, but now I got to lock that and step in and throw him, and he's probably not going to really want to let you do that. Okay, so where we're going from there, and this is the grab area here. So with this, bringing it up here, right? First of all, you got to keep the elbow down below his arm. Okay, and as for where your arm should be, think at or above his elbow, never below. I mean, never at or above his elbow. This way, toward him. Okay, never below back here. All right. So from here, the next step is, from this, don't get here and then just try to go. He's going to feel exactly what's going on, and he can, again, I'm committed to getting into that position. There's too much commitment to a particular type of movement and a particular kind of technique going on there. Okay, so again, we get him here, right? Okay. And see what that does to his balance? It doesn't totally break it, but it disturbs it in a forward direction this way over his weak line of balance. That creates a space for him to move into. Okay? Here, then. Okay? And the other thing is that, okay, about this movement first, from this part here. Don't push from this side. Remember how when we're doing an ukanagashi, it's from pulling this side? Well, when you pull this side in, of course, it's going to push the other side the other way, because the spine kind of forms an axis that the rest of your body wants to rotate around, okay, longitudinally anyway. So you're here. You don't do it by pushing here. You can feel what's going on. You pull from that side, okay? It's harder for him to tell what's going on. And by keeping the elbow down also, and even bringing it in slightly, did you feel the direction your balance was going? It was not just on your weak line, but slightly up. It kind of floats you up a little bit. Okay, there. And then also, at the point where you get in here and you're standing in front of him, here's what everybody wants to do. They want to do one of two things. They want to, again, try to push from this side. Yeah, he can feel that and move around it. Okay? And or they want to go around and over. Okay? Again, it's pulling from in here again. Just like when you first started to create the opening there. Pulling from this side. Feel that? And now feel that different, right?
I don't know where it's coming from, and it goes from the other hip. It's just all of a sudden something happening.
Yeah. Here, we'll let you watch for a sec. Robert? Okay, so again, we're, there we are, and then just that. Again, think ukanagashi here. In fact, you could do this. You know, you could have him just grabbing me and getting ready to, or trying to hold me in position here, while Russell comes in to punch me, right? And, okay, and I've just done exactly the same thing here, and got this effect by using this, which I can then use to take him into Russell. You know? But again, it's this pulling kind of movement. So here, this is pulling, extending, and then turning the hips in such a way this is pulling in, which takes him like that, which creates the opening now for you to step in, so that again you're dropping out and pulling from this side. Notice how I'm keeping my spine vertical as I do this too. I'm not going, but it's pulling. It's this back pressure here. Okay, play with it a few more times.